Hey guys, it's Bailey and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a dupe or dud video, and I'm sure you can tell if you take a look at the way the background has changed, you get a clue that we're going to be talking about acrylic storage containers. I'm so excited about this video, and it's one that I think a lot of other people are going to be interested in as well because they are such a popular topic here and a popular way to store your makeup, but they can get really expensive and it can be really hard to find a quality dupe that is actually very similar in form and function. So over here on my right, probably your left I'm assuming, this is the original beauty box that retails for $119. And long story short, this video took forever to make, and it actually features not 2 but 3 products I'm gonna be comparing. It took forever to make because both of the kind of dupe options I have over here over my left shoulder go in and out of stock pretty unreliably on Amazon. I gotta be honest, I started the concept, I guess. I've been wanting to compare the original beauty box with some form of dupe for months now. I originally got this one over here, which is from the brand Deco. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's from that brand, and the second that it got delivered and I had a chance to fill it up and test it out, it went out of stock, and on Amazon it said they don't know when it's gonna be back in stock. So the dupe was curtailed for a few more months. More recently, like within the past week, I ordered this guy from Nile Corp, and literally today I sit down to make this video and I check in on Amazon to make sure I'm aware of the pricing and how much it is, all that kind of stuff, and it's out of stock, not only on Amazon but also on the manufacturer's website. And there is no estimate as to when it's going to be back in stock on either of them. Meanwhile, I go check out this guy again from Deco, and it's in stock randomly. There are like 5 to 10 units still available. So I figure these guys, even though they're a little bit harder to track down, definitely still exist. You can put an alert, put them on your wish list, I think, and Amazon will alert you as they become available. But I figured I'm just gonna put out a video letting you know my thoughts on all of the dupes, because at the end of the day, the original beauty box retails for $119 and the one from Nile Corp retails for $47 and the one from Deco retails for $37, I want to say, around there. So it's pretty significant savings if you can get your hands on one, provided that you don't mind the ways in which these differ from the original. I think you're going to be super happy with them. So let's get into what the original beauty box is and then how the 2 other guys differ. First, let's talk about the original beauty box. That guy retails for $119 and comes with 4 drawers. The top one is a very slim drawer. I find it's best for holding lip products, glosses, liquid lipsticks, regular lipsticks, ColourPop lippies fit in there. For all of these, I tried to fill them. You can fill them much more than I did each of them. I really just tried to fill them with things that I think a lot of people would have and give you a good idea of what will exactly fit in dimension wise. Keeping in mind that you can always stack blushes, as long as the one blush fits and you have 5 different kinds of NARS blushes, you can always stack them up. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, chances are it's because you've seen these on Instagram. They are packed to the gills and they're absolutely beautiful. But just keep in mind that I packed these so that you could get an idea for the dimensions, and less all that they could fit inside. Moving down to the next 2 drawers, those are quite a bit thicker than the first one, but they are the same dimensions between the 2. And they both have dividers that are removable. In fact, the divider in all 3 of the drawers below the top have dividers that are removable, but because the height of the middle 2 drawers is a little bit shorter than the bottom-most drawer, I like to put things like foundations that can be laid down, or smaller palettes, individual eyeshadows, individual blushes, things like that. You'll be able to get a good idea of what is in there as I flash, kind of opening the drawers and showing you what all goes inside. Inside there, you'll see that I have a Naked Basics palette that you could actually sit all the way up, and the drawer will open and close if you want to sit it so it is vertical on its side. On the other hand though, it's sitting right next to a sleek blush and contour palette, and that you cannot stand up. So just to give you an idea of what will fit standing up and what won't, those are the 2 kind of natural items that I wanted to compare next to each other. Then moving down to the bottom drawer, like I said, it is a little bit taller than those 2 middle drawers, which means I personally find it is great for putting palettes like those from Urban Decay or Smashbox's Full Exposure. Those fit in there standing up nicely really, really well. So like I said, I like to remove that center divider to give me a little more room to do that. But you'll notice that Kat Von D palettes are a little bit too thick to stand up on end, so you can kind of cram more in there. You do have to lay those down, which I personally find makes it a little bit harder to tell what what exactly is in there, but as long as you know that they're stacked on top of each other. So that's really the original beauty box. I will say that of all three that I'm going to talk about today, it is easily the one that feels most sturdy and most well made. The other two don't exactly feel like they're going to fall apart, but the joints on the beauty box are less jagged. It doesn't wobble at all. It feels way more grounded and just like a more solid quality piece. So I definitely think that you are paying for the quality in a sense. The drawers slide out really easily as well. Something that I found with both of the two alternatives is that the more product you put in them and the heavier those drawers get, the more friction they're going to encounter as you try and push them in and pull them out. And because that acrylic isn't quite as high quality, it just feels a little bit more stable. You have to kind of stabilize it as you open and close those drawers. Like I said, the price difference is pretty big, so that kind of difference might not be enough for you to choose the original beauty box over the other. It's just something to be aware of that I notice as I have the two in front of me. It's a pretty big difference. The next one I want to talk about is the Nile Corp. It's the closest one to me here over my left shoulder. I want to talk about that next because it is most physically similar to the original beauty box. It has the same drawer structure where on the top you have a very thin drawer that's great for lipsticks or lip products in general. You move down to the following two drawers. They're the same dimensions, but I find they're great for individual shadows, blushes, anything larger that you want to lay down like foundations or concealers, powders, things like that. And then the bottom drawer is slightly taller than the two before. The major difference here is that these dividers aren't removable, and I find that's kind of a bummer because, especially with the bottom drawer, I really relied on being able to remove that center divider in the original beauty box because then I could fit all of my long palettes, Naked palettes, Lorac Pro, things like that. It was just a perfect palette drawer. You don't really get that kind of space in here. You'll see as I open the bottommost drawer, you're really limited to storing sort of shorter palettes in here. So if you have an alternative storage method, like maybe you use those desk dividers where you can put like folders or papers or binders, things like that, that's a good alternative. But I really did appreciate the fact that you could remove those dividers and put longer palettes inside. The other major difference is the fact that even though these have finger holes like the original beauty box, they are slightly smaller, and it really only made a major difference when it came to using the topmost kind of lipstick drawer. You'll see that as I go to open that, it's a little bit harder to get my finger in there, and so that combined with the fact that this acrylic is a little bit stickier, I guess. It can sometimes get stuck a little bit as you pull it out. It can make it a little hard to pull that topmost drawer out. It's not a deal breaker for a $50 difference between the two, in my opinion, but it is something you need to be aware of because it's just like a small instance of a difference in quality, I think. Overall though, nearly identical. You can pretty much fit everything in there that you would in the original beauty box, but for larger eyeshadow palettes, and that might be a deal breaker for some, but like I said, if you have an alternative method for storing those, that could be right up your alley. And last, let's move on to the Deco storage container. It is a little bit more different from the original beauty box than the Nile Corp storage container was, but for all practical purposes it serves very, very similar functions. So you'll see that on the top, rather than having that lipstick drawer, it's actually just a lip that can hold in anything that you might not necessarily want to lay down, like nail polishes, or you want to keep more at the ready than other things like eyeshadow palettes, foundations, powders, things like that. That's just a sampling of things I like to keep up there, but the other nice thing about it is that lip keeps things from falling off. You'll see that I can store things on top of the flat surface that is on the other ones as well, but it is nice to have that lip and know that things aren't going to fall off the top. And the other thing is, if you were really counting on that top drawer to hold lip products, you could still place lip products flat on top of that surface. It's effectively serves the same purpose. It's just not a drawer, it's a surface. Then you move down to the next two drawers and it's the same thing. They're the same dimensions, but rather than having finger holes, these actually have pull tabs, which I personally find to make it easier, especially when you're working with an acrylic that doesn't feel quite as smooth or slick as the high quality Original Beauty box, those handles for me make it way easier to pull those drawers out without having them get sticky. You'll notice, however, that when I do pull those next two drawers out, there are slightly different storage structures. So with this guy, you actually are able to remove all of the dividers, and actually in the first topmost drawer, well, in either of them actually, since they're the same dimensions, but you're given kind of a crisscross divider that you can take out to do any kind of configuration, whether you want to divide it in half or do the full section off into quarters. You have that option, and then you'll see in the drawer below there is a mobile sliding divider. This is not a great quality sliding divider, I'm gonna be really honest with you. It serves its purpose as like dividing things up. You'll see I have lip liners in one section and then different kinds of makeup products in the other, but really they do feel pretty cheaply made. They slide everywhere. They don't go in any one particular slot and then stay there like they do with the Original Beauty box, but like I said, they really get the job done. And while I appreciate the diagonal dividers, I personally don't like having them sectioned off into quarters, at least the way that they have them divided as an X, because it's a very hard space to fit products in unless you're putting like cotton balls or Q-tip, well, even Q-tips are kind of tricky there, but something that has a pretty definite shape, which is every makeup product that you have, it's a little trickier to fit those in that odd triangle shape, and so I'd recommend just doing one diagonal or leaving it completely open. But it does give you some additional options for dividing your makeup stash. And then you go to the bottom drawer, and like the other two options, it is a little bit taller, so you can fit things upright like palettes in there. You can take the dividers out so you can fit something like a naked palette or a similar longer palette. So I really do like that about it, and like I said, basically in terms of function, it performs nearly identically to the Original Beauty box. Really, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison. They are well, they're not exact dupes. I think that's pretty apparent. They're very, very similar, and for the drastic difference in price, especially with the one from Deco over here, I just think it's an amazing option when you want that very sleek look of an acrylic box storage container, but you don't want to splurge $100 worth on it. There are the differences, like I said, with the quality of acrylic, the stickiness of the acrylic, but it's up to you whether or not it's worth it for the additional quality or just the pure functionality. So really hope this video was helpful. Really hope that one of these is in stock as you watch it. Like I said, that might be the biggest downfall here, is that those are really hard to find in stock, but when you can, definitely take advantage of it because they're both pretty great units. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!